missing it. The guys are dancing. Let's go, Dwayne! Yeah! Dwayne Carter! Woohoo!
Movavi. Movavi.
All right, we are live here. Just wanted to come on and talk about the Buffalo Bills Patriots game tomorrow. Is a lot of people think this is a meaningless game. And, you know, according to the records, it is meaningless because the Patriots are already eliminated and the Buffalo Bills are already locked in the 2 seed. That's great, Brett. But it isn't meaningless. And here's some of the reasons why. You know, we've got some things that the Bills' individual players have been really trying to get. So Josh Allen wants to really have that streak of consecutive games played, so he will start the game. I don't think he'll play more than one series. He may only play one play, but they'll probably leave him in there for the whole series. And then Mitch Trubisky will come in. He'll probably play a couple of quarters. And then they brought Mike White up from the practice squad to actually to the 53-man roster. So Mike White, formerly of the New York Jets and the Miami Dolphins, is going to get some playing time in this game too. So we've got that. And then we have James Cook, who is 19 yards away from a 1,000-yard rushing season and 1 touchdown away from the franchise record in touchdowns, as he does lead the league in touchdowns for the season. So James Cook is going to at least touch the ball in this game. Probably won't get a lot of playing time, but I do think they will get him to at least his 1,000 yards, if not that touchdown record. Other than that, Von Miller is a guy. There's a few players on the team that have a chance to really make some good money here by the incentives in their contracts. Von Miller being the first one. He gets one more sack. One sack in this game is worth $1.5 million. So I know Von's got a lot of money, but that's a lot of money. You know, he'll probably try to get that one sack. Daquan Jones is another player with an incentive in his contract. If he can get half a sack, he gets $250K. Now that's a lot of money to Daquan Jones. So I don't think Daquan Jones is going to let him take him out of the game until he gets at least that half a sack. That I know Daquan wants to get that. So watch for Daquan Jones getting that half a sack to bring home that $250K paycheck. I was watching a video of live Daquan Jones earlier this year, and he was talking about he doesn't like to do a lot of jersey exchanges because the players actually have to pay for those jerseys when they exchange them. So $250K will go a long way to help him with some jersey exchanges. The next one is our punter, Sam Martin. He gets $100K if he just punts one ball inside the 20-yard line. So, you know, when they're near midfield and everybody's yelling, go for it, go for it, I can see Sam Martin on the sideline saying, no, don't go for it. Let me punt, because he wants to make that $100K. He's probably going to get that. He'll probably get one punt inside the 20-yard line during this game so he can bring home that $100K paycheck. And then Mac Hollins. Mac Hollins needs 2 catches to bring home a $50K bonus. So if Mac Hollins can get those 2 catches, I do think that the Bills look at these bonuses, the coaching staff, they're not the one paying them. The owner may look at it a little bit differently, but the players and the coaches, I do think, look at these. I know last year there were a couple of players that Josh Allen targeted in the last couple of games to try to get him their bonus. So they will probably try to target Mac Hollins for at least 2 catches in this game. He's been getting that anyway, and he can get that $50K. So watch those bonuses as a little bit of a sideline to see, if you'll know if they get those bonuses, how they react, and you'll know. You can watch those individual players to see, their reaction to know if they got their payday in that way. So it means a lot that way. Today, the Bills called up Casey Toohill, the defensive lineman who was on the 53-man roster earlier this year, and Will Clapp. So Casey Toohill will be another player to play defense, and Will Clapp another player on the offensive line. So, I do think that the starting offensive line will be out there as long as Josh Allen is out there. They're not going to risk Josh Allen to any backup offensive linemen. So we'll see how they move things around there. I think we'll see a lot of Cedric Van Pen Granger and other offensive linemen. Maybe Gable will come in. You'll see a lot of guys that Alec Anderson, who has been playing the tackle eligible, will probably get some play at guard or tackle, and Ryan Vandermark will play some tackle as well. So, I may have missed somebody there, but the offensive line is going to have a lot of changes. Speaking of Alec Anderson, that's another thing the Bills really want. Is they were really happy that last week when Terrell Shavers got his touchdown, because it tied an NFL record for the individual players that have scored a touchdown during the season at 13. 13 individual players have scored touchdowns for the Buffalo Bills this year. The epitome of everyone eats. And Josh Allen is one of those players that has a touchdown receiving during the year. He does not have a reception in the playbook because he didn't actually receive the pass, but he got a receiving touchdown, if that makes any sense, as the lateral got him into the end zone. So who do I think might get those touchdowns? They've been talking for a long time about trying to get Alec Anderson a touchdown as tackle eligible. He has been doing so well this year as tackle eligible. I'm so proud of Alex Anderson. I've said it in other videos too. Alex been on the team for 2 years, 1 year on the practice squad, the next year on the 53-man roster, but never actually got in a game. And then this year, he's been very, very active and is also the player that you can for sure is going to be watching other guys' backs. Deion Dawkins, Jamie, is another good player that might get a play, but I don't think Deion's going to get much playing time in this game. So the only way he'll score a touchdown as a tackle eligible is early in the game, because they'll probably bench him and he'll let him stay on the sidelines. The other player is Reggie Gilliam. Reggie Gilliam does not have a receiving touchdown this year. I do think they will try to get him the ball out there. I thought that other players might get called up from the practice squad, but it turns out that some of these players from the practice squad had already been called up 2 times. And if you make them a third time, you have to put them on the 53. You can't call them up a third time. You have to actually put them on the 53, which means cutting someone. So at this point in the season, we're not going to worry about that. We'll just bring up Will Clapp, whose picture is right over here next to Micah Hyde. And Casey Toohill's actually just a little bit past him over here. It's a little confusing as I'm going backwards to show you pictures. But so those are some of the things to look at. The more important things to look at. We're going to get a lot of guys that have been backups and third-string players playing a lot of playing time in this game because it doesn't affect the 2 seed. We're locked into the 2 seed. And in this game, that means players like Buffalo Joe Andreessen is going to be the starting middle linebacker. Terrell Bernard is already listed as out for the game. He's been nursing some sort of an injury. And then today, Cooper was also he's not even going to make the trip. He's got some personal things that he wants to take care of. So Amari Cooper is not going to be playing tomorrow either, which means other wide receivers will see the ball. So Buffalo Joe Andreessen will be out there. I think we'll see a lot of Ulofoshio at linebacker. That's another new player that was drafted this year that we haven't seen a lot from because he was hurt in training camp and he's never been able to actually get the reps and things. So this will be good to see what he can do in the NFL as he will be playing. At the safety position, there's talk about Hamlin, maybe getting his feet wet at this game. So it would be good if Hamlin could come back. I don't think we'll see a lot of Taylor Rapp. He's been nursing that neck injury, and he played last week, but they'll probably start with Hamlin and Rapp, but they'll probably change to Bishop pretty quickly and bring him in. And Cam Lewis has been nursing an injury, so I don't know how much playing time he'll get either, because we want to play the guys that are not nursing injuries. Also, if Taylor Rapp gets an interception, he gets a sizable bonus for the year. And if Taron Johnson gets an interception, he gets a sizable bonus for the year. Interceptions I wasn't really going to talk about, but because, they're a little bit harder to come up with than 2 pass catches or a punt inside the 20. But, if those happen, they'll get good bonuses too. There may be other bonuses that I haven't thought of. Hey, Derek, good to see you on another live. So, yeah, we're going to try to make some money there for those individual players, or take money out of the owner's pocket, which that's a whole nother story and don't really need to be talked about. So it'll be good to see those guys play. It'll be good to see some of the new offensive linemen get some playing time. I think Ray Davis will get a lot of handoffs and a lot of runs in this game, which will be good to see. Love to see Ray Davis anytime possible. So those are the big things. I was hoping Davidson was going to get called up, but it turns out he has used his call-ups for the year. I was hoping maybe other players like Virgil might be able to, but he's used his call-ups. So, we're just at the last game of the season. Some of the guys aren't going to be eligible to call up unless they come right to the 53-man roster. And again, we don't want to cut anybody to just do that. So we want everybody as fresh as possible for this playoff game. I do love Ray Davis. Ray Davis is one player that'll come by and talk to us before games and after, and well, not after games because I can't get as good a location, but before games, Ray Davis comes over and talks to us. His eyes are something else. That's a legit look when you see him. And the stuff he's been doing for Big Brothers is just fantastic work too. He's a great person in the community. And Deion Dawkins is our community player of the year, but there's other guys that are doing things. Dawkins has gotten that for the last 3 years because he does do a lot of great things, but there's other guys that do good things too, like Ray Davis. Yeah, so those are the few things I wanted to really come on and talk to you about, that the game is not meaningless. Maybe we can see one of these backup guys and see that they really play well and can help us in a playoff game at a certain situation. We can give some other guys some special teams work on kickoff or punt return or punt coverage and see what they can do. So it's good for those guys. They've been working hard all year on the practice squad, and it's good to have them in there. I would have liked to have seen Kingsley Jonathan get the call up, maybe instead of Casey Toohill, because Casey has been injured a little bit, but it must be he's okay to go. And Casey probably more likely to get playing time in the playoffs than Kingsley Jonathan is, although I love Kingsley Jonathan. They probably wanted to get Casey Toohill a game under his belt, just like I was talking about Damar Hamlin, so you can get Casey Toohill some playing time before he possibly plays in the playoff games coming up. So the big things to look forward outside of our game, we need to watch the Kansas City Chiefs Denver Broncos game. The Chiefs are not playing their starters. If the Broncos could have beat them earlier this year, albeit a blocked field goal at the end cost them, or if the Broncos just didn't call timeout last week in the overtime, the clock could have run out and they would have made it to the playoffs, but they allowed the Bengals to have time to win the game. Either one of those things, the Broncos would already be our opponent for next week. Now they have to beat the Chiefs. They can beat the Chiefs. They were really close earlier this year with their players, but the Chiefs are not going to be playing any of their starters. Carson Wentz is actually getting the start there for the Chiefs. So if the Broncos can win that game, then we will play the Broncos in the first round the following week. And those schedules will come out after the Sunday night football game, so we'll know whether we're playing Saturday or Sunday of the following week. And that'll be interesting. I personally hope we're playing Saturday because if we are able to beat the Broncos or whoever we're playing, then we'll have an extra day's rest for the next game. The other game to watch then, it would be the Dolphins game. If the Broncos aren't able to win and the Dolphins do, then we get to see the Fish again. We've already watched them destroy the Fish twice this year. And then 3 times last year. I just am tired of seeing the Miami Dolphins come to town and their weak coach, whatever. I hope it's not them, just because I don't want to see that game. Anyway, and then if they lose, the Bengals win their game, they will be coming to Buffalo, and I definitely don't want to see that because Joe Burrow is playing some good football right now, and we're all lucky that earlier in the year they were not a good team because they are a very, very good team now, and if the record earlier in the year is going to keep them out of the playoffs, it helps every playoff team. So, and if none of those teams will win, then Denver's going to backwalk into the playoffs, doing a little Michael Jackson move and come into the playoffs. So, of those scenarios, I'd rather play Denver. I know Denver has a good defense and a young new quarterback, a pretty good wide receiver. But I just don't want to see the Dolphins for a third time. We already squished the Fish twice. We don't need to do it again. The poor Fish. And then I definitely don't want to see the Bengals. I'm just telling you, the Bengals are playing some good football. So root for Denver against Kansas City so that it's the Broncos that come to Buffalo, even with that very good defense. And then we don't want to talk too much more about that because that's next week's game, and we'll do videos on that as well as we get closer to that. So hopefully everybody had a great Christmas, got some Bills gear or things on your Christmas day, and a Happy New Year as well. Hopefully everybody had a safe New Year. So let's root for Reggie. I hope Reggie Gilliam gets his touchdown because Reggie Gilliam's sledge is definitely a fantastic guy, a great guy, and let's get him that touchdown. So he's the one that helps him break the record because he's been the one blocking for everybody this year. That long run earlier this year that James Cook had, it's because Gilliam hit the block and let him go. And last year when Naheem Hines had those, or was it 2 years ago? Anyway, Naheem Hines has those 2 kickoff returns. Those were because also with the help of Gilliam throwing some big blocks. So it'd be nice to see Gilliam get a touchdown catch in this game. So with that, I say, go Bills. And remember, always remember this. God loves you, and so do I. You missing it, the guys are dancing. Let's go, Dwayne! Yeah! Dwayne Carter!
Movavi. Movavi. Movavi.